Cultivating a positive mindset, reframing negative thoughts. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Wisdom and Happiness. Today we're diving into a powerful and transformative topic, reframing negative thoughts. If you've ever felt weighed down by self-doubt or caught in a cycle of negativity, this video is for you. Together, we'll explore practical ways to shift your perspective, empowering you to build a more positive and resilient mindset. Let's get started. Have you ever noticed how one negative thought can completely change your mood or even your entire day? Maybe it's a worry about not being good enough or feeling like you've failed. Thoughts have a way of influencing not only how we feel but also the choices we make. A simple negative belief can snowball into stress, anxiety, or unproductive behaviors. But here's the good news. Since negative thinking is something our minds learn, it's something we can unlearn too. And that's where reframing comes in. By learning to reshape the way we think, we can turn the lens of negativity into one of possibility and positivity. So ask yourself, what if you could take control of those harmful thoughts? Before we can change negative thoughts, we need to understand them. Often negative thinking becomes a habit without us even realizing it. Let me share a few common patterns. Overgeneralizing, believing that one bad experience means everything will always go wrong. For example, I didn't get the job. Nothing ever works out for me. Catastrophizing, jumping to the worst possible conclusion. For instance, I made a mistake at work. I'll probably get fired now. Black and white thinking, seeing everything as all or nothing. For example, if I don't succeed perfectly, I'm a complete failure. Do any of these patterns sound familiar to you? Don't worry, you're not alone. These thought patterns are not permanent. Recognizing them is the first step toward change. Reframing is a technique from cognitive behavioral therapy that helps you shift your perspective. Instead of letting negative thoughts spiral, you challenge and reshape them to be more balanced and empowering. Think of it as swapping out an old scratched lens for a shiny, clear one that lets you see the world differently. Here's an example. Imagine you think, I'll never be good at giving presentations. If you accept that thought, it could prevent you from trying or growing. But if you reframe it to, presentations are a challenge for me now, but with practice, I'll improve. Suddenly the thought feels lighter and more hopeful. You've opened the door to growth. Reframing takes practice, but you don't have to do it perfectly. Every small step counts. Let's explore how to make it happen. The first step is awareness. When a negative thought pops into your mind, don't let it go unnoticed. Instead, pause and pay attention. Ask yourself, what is this thought saying? Why do I feel this way? Is this thought helping or hurting me? For example, if you're thinking, I'm so bad at my job, stop yourself. Write it down. Seeing the thought on paper can make it feel less overwhelming and easier to analyze. Here's a simple exercise called Catch the Thought. Carry a small notebook or use a notes app on your phone. When you catch yourself having a negative thought, jot it down. Save these notes so you can revisit them later with a more objective perspective. Identifying negative thoughts is like shining a flashlight into a dark corner. It's the first step to clearing things out. Once you've spotted a negative thought, the next step is to question it. Thoughts are not always facts. Often, they're just stories we tell ourselves. To test this, try the evidence for and against exercise. Take your negative thought. Let's use the example, I always mess things up. Ask, what evidence do I have to support this thought? Are there specific moments I can think of? Then ask, what evidence do I have that this thought is not true? Have I ever succeeded at something? Do people in my life value my efforts? Once you've explored both sides, write a new, balanced thought. Sometimes I make mistakes, but I've also succeeded many times. I have the ability to learn and grow. See the shift? By questioning the truth of negative thoughts, you take away their power. Suddenly, they're no longer facts, but opinions you can challenge and replace. This is where the magic of reframing happens. After challenging a thought, replace it with something kinder, more realistic, and rooted in self-compassion. Remember, reframing doesn't mean ignoring challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It's about finding a healthier, more constructive perspective. Here's a step-by-step approach to replacing negative thoughts. Acknowledge the original thought, don't push it away, name it. Challenge it. Use the evidence for and against exercise. Replace it. Create a new thought that encourages growth and positivity. For example, negative thought, I'm terrible at managing my time. Balanced perspective. Time management is a skill I'm still building, but I've already made small improvements and I can continue to get better. Doesn't that feel lighter? Imagine the impact of practicing reframing daily. Instead of letting negativity keep you stuck, you'll start to see challenges as opportunities to grow. Reframing isn't a quick fix, it's a daily practice. Much like building physical strength, building a positive mindset requires consistency and effort. Think of this process as exercising your mental muscles. Here are a few ways to make this practice part of your daily routine. Start a reframing journal. Each evening, write down one negative thought you had during the day and reframe it using the steps we've covered. Set reminders. Add a post-it note with an encouraging phrase somewhere visible, such as "Your thoughts have power, choose wisely." Practice mindfulness. If a negative thought arises, don't judge it. Simply pause and ask yourself if it's helpful or true. These small habits done consistently can lead to big changes over time. Here's a quick exercise for you right now as we wrap up. Take a moment to think of one recent negative thought that's been lingering in your mind. Maybe it's about a relationship, your job, or even about yourself. Now write it down. Go through the steps to reframe it. How does it feel to challenge that thought and replace it with something more empowering? Remember, every time you do this, you're taking a step closer to creating a healthier relationship with your mind. Reframing negative thoughts isn't just a skill, it's a way of life. It's about taking what feels heavy and learning to carry it lightly. It's about reclaiming your power and choosing a perspective that supports your growth instead of holding you back. If today's video resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you. Share one thought you've reframed in the comments. I'll be cheering you on. And if you're ready to take more steps toward cultivating joy, subscribe to Wisdom and Happiness YouTube channel for more empowering insights and exercises. Thank you for spending time with me today. Remember, no matter where you are in your journey, you have the strength to create a more positive and uplifting mindset. Keep growing, keep thriving, and I'll see you in the next video.